Thank you.
Next
Thank
up, we have Dr. Sonal Sagar Boda is a Scrum Technical Program Manager at Cisco. Dr. Sonal Sagar Boda is a Scrum Lead and Technical Program Manager at Cisco, where he leads enterprise scale CRM transformation initiatives utilizing Salesforce and MuleSoft. With deep expertise in cloud computing, agile delivery, and data driven strategy, he is known for driving impactful digital transformation across complex organizations. Dr. Boda is a recognized contributor to the global tech and academic communities, having served as a keynote speaker, session chair, and peer reviewer for IEEE and Springer conferences. He holds editorial board positions with Eternal Scientific Publications and the International Journal of Innovative Research in Engineering and Multidisciplinary Physical Sciences. He is also a member of MLE Harvard Square and contributes to the IEEE Artificial Intelligence Policy Committee, supporting responsible AI policy governance. Additionally, he has contributed as a judge for global hackathons, helping to evaluate and elevate innovative solutions from emerging tech talent. He is passionate about advancing innovation at the intersection of technology, research, and community impact.
Hi everyone. Thank you for the introduction. Let me go ahead and get started. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. So my topic is on enterprise AI strategy, a framework for ethical governance and scalable implementation. So this is a qualitative research. I will be talking on the best practices for qualitative research alongside walking you through the topic. Let me go through the abstract. The integration of AI into enterprise level decision making has become essential for data driven decision making processes. However, the existing literature remains fragmented across technical, organizational, and ethical domains, lacking cohesive guidance on how AI is operationalized within decision systems at scale. So, this study addressed the gap by qualitatively synthesizing 40 resources, including journal articles, books, conference proceedings, white papers, and particularly reports published between 2020 and 2025. White papers were also considered for this study because AI adoption is in progress. The study looked at credible sources and ensured that the information or data gathered is credible and authentic. Grounded theory informed the conceptual framing, and data analysis followed a structured 8 step thematic findings protocol using content analysis method. Um, the study explored how organizational practices and decision making processes evolve by integrating AI into data driven decision making frameworks. The findings were categorized into business and technical themes. Technically, organizations prioritized AI model deployment, data pipelines readiness, workflow automation, and decision support visualization. Business themes revealed strategic alignment, executive sponsorship, cultural readiness, and ethical accountability and collaboration between human AI interaction. So these were the different topics identified which are valuable for AI governance in enterprise domains. The study offered a cross-sectoral synthesis to support the development of scalable, transparent, and context-aware AI-enabled decision frameworks responsible to technological and organizational dynamics. So, while I was walking you through the abstract, you will understand more on each sentence that I was mentioning. So, what I would recommend to the practitioners is, if you look at the abstract here, I also followed the best practices of writing an abstract where I'm giving an introduction to the topic. I also highlighted what the literature mentioned, some of the practices that were used prior to this study, what were the findings of this study, and how is it impacting. It would also be nice to include implications, if you may include in your studies. During my introduction, it was told that review papers for different conferences and journals. So I always recommend practitioners to follow best practices. It would increase the credibility of your research and hard work. So when it comes to different organizations, there are different areas in the organizations like engineering, product marketing, research, operations, sales, legal, customer support, and HR. So all these areas within the company have their own automations and business processes to meet enterprise strategy and themes within the organization. And AI is under adoption for many organizations, and the organizations need to scale by leveraging this new technology with advancements and innovations happening every single day. So when it comes to human decision making within the organizations, I am showing a typical example how it's done. So at a team level, different individuals contribute. The teams brainstorm and come to decision making respective for their particular teams, and the management makes decisions based on different teams and plan accordingly on a timely manner for every quarter, or the frequency that works for their organization. And strategic planning is one of the key areas where decision making is crucial within an organization, and it is done at an executive level. So when it comes to data driven decision making, the simple concepts revolve around data collection, analyzing the data, interpreting the results, and making decisions. So within organizations, do organizations have the right data to make relevant decisions? Are they looking at the legacy data or the latest data to make these informed decisions, how they are doing as a company with AI growing technology? Are they able to make these decisions? So all these key points were considered while investigating and researching on this topic. So to give you a background, um, enterprise decision making has emerged as a transformative frontier, enabling organizations to shift from intuition based choices to data driven strategic and operational decisions. Um, Business environments are usually categorized by uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity, and volatility. Data driven decision making, supported by AI tools such as predictive analytics, machine learning algorithms, and natural language processing, has become central to achieving agility, efficiency, and innovation. Despite growing momentum, many organizations lack a cohesive strategy to implement AI enabled data driven decision making that is more scalable, ethically governed, and aligned with core business goals. So, every organization has core business objectives, and they measure scalability at an organizational level. But there are so many teams involved, and all the teams within the organization are working at a very fast paced environment based on the requirements they receive from the business operations, within their organization, but they're unable to meet and scale at that pace. So AI is helping them out and addressing different areas within the organization. So we will see how this study has identified and reviewed the literature. Problem statement. Literature revealed that, I can say Chen et al. Highlighted in 2023 that there is a lack of robust, well-developed frameworks that systematically address data privacy and security concerns in AI-enabled data-driven decision making. Existing studies also highlighted lack of sufficient exploration of ethical alignment mechanisms and dynamic model governance practices in AI-based system decision making. Based on the current scholarly work prior to this study, there is a limited research on how organizational culture, leadership structures, and data infrastructure affected the ethical and strategic integration of AI systems. So, like I mentioned, as AI adoption is in progress, there is not much scholarly evidence of these areas that I mentioned. It is growing on a daily basis. Um, there are several quantitative studies being implemented through various journals, conference proceedings, and many studies are underway uh, to come up with findings to actually see what's working with AI and what isn't, and how it is impacting organizational decision making. The data also needs to be consistent in order for AI to work efficiently and effectively. So the purpose of this study was the study has one central research question: what organizational narratives and practices shape the adoption of AI for data-driven decision making? So, like I mentioned, methodology. So, before I start off with the methodology, I would recommend researchers and practitioners, while doing their research, while conducting the research, every process, every section, or for example, if I talk about literature review, overall methodology of the paper, every section of your paper should have a process that will provide more credibility to your research, and you will follow an organized structure and manner to complete the study without having any bias towards the study. Reflexivity and bias is crucial for uh, doing or conducting any research. That means you're directly engaging with the data and the practices or the processes involved for the study without any bias of the researcher. Um, it's more like contributing as a facilitator, but also applying your skills to do the analysis for the study. So the grounded theory acted as a conceptual framework. So the grounded theories key principles such as constant comparison and iterative coding guided the study. The data collection and sampling strategy was done through collecting documents using Prisma approach. So when you do the literature review, even if you're doing a search strategy using different keywords, you should definitely indicate in your studies about the search strategy. In that way, the readers will, get to know what kind of literature review was done. So in this case, Prisma was implemented. So basically, um, it helps in organizing systematic reviews or identifying credible sources using the approach. And then data analysis was done using thematic analysis, using content analysis and data coding workflow. I'll walk you through each process as I speak. Um, so the data collection process had an inclusion and exclusion criteria. So the papers that were published between 2020 and 2025 were only included for this study. The study focused explicitly on data-driven decision making in organizations using AI. The the studies that were addressed for strategic governance or organizational implementation using AI were considered. Um, the inclusion criteria also produced journals from peer-reviewed sources like IEEE, um, Springer conference proceedings, Scopus Index journals, and other journals, recognized journals as well. White papers from recognized organizations like Cisco, Amazon, Deloitte, PwC, and other major firms were considered. So the study excluded studies that were limited to algorithmic or technical optimization without organizational focus. The study also excluded blogs, marketing brochures, or opinion pieces that lack analytical depth. So, like I mentioned, data analysis. So, once the documents were collected, there was tons of data. I mentioned 40 peer reviewed, 40 sources, sorry, in my abstract. So before even going there, the data or the findings were included from the 40 sources, but during the initial search, there were around 100 sources that were considered for the study. So, how do we analyze using these documents? So, content analysis is one of the thematic analysis processes where you describe each theme which contribute as a story to answer the research question. So, each theme has a story, and multiple themes together combine and answer the research question. So, when you initially have the documents and data ready, you read through the documents and get familiarized with the data is the initial step, and then you define the unit of analysis with the investigators understanding, that is whoever is doing the research. Then you start a coding framework development where you read through the sentences and start coding and see what comes out of the data without having any bias towards the study. And then when you complete the full set of data coding through an iterative approach, for example, you read through one document, you complete the data coding. Um, uh, Data codes can be like data familiarization, pilot testing, um, uh, large language models. It can be anything related to what you are reading. So the researchers have to come up with the terminology which is most suitable while reading the documents. And then category summarization. So basically, multiple codes, let's say you identify thousands of codes, or there are a lot of codes. You can group these codes to combine and form code category. In that way, each code category has a meaningful information about the topic. And then you perform trustworthiness checks to see, you have a research question, is the data making sense out of it to answer. So you do that trustworthiness check and see if it's meeting the research question criteria. And then you come up with the findings, you name the themes and finalize and report the findings is the final step of the data analysis. So many research papers or journals might have different data, but the researchers through this data analysis process should ensure that it is completely relevant to the research question. In this case, we are looking for ethical governance in AI. So the data analysis was done in Atlas TI. As you see, there were different codes generated. On top, these are the sample codes that were generated, and each appeared multiple times within the documents. And these were some of the names and also some of the code categories that I included. Moving ahead, um, so based on the findings after reviewing the sources, using content analysis, predictive modeling and deployment and decision intelligence is one of the key factors. In this presentation, I'm only highlighting the high level views, but uh, whoever is interested should go deeper into these topics and see how these areas highlight the strategic development and initiative for organizational AI governance. Data pipeline and maturity and architecture readiness is crucial for improving AI adoption. System integration and workflow automation is also one of the key areas. Strategic alignment and executive sponsorship. Um, Usually many leaders within the organization, they might not invest completely on the AI projects for decision making at an enterprise level. So these are the areas considered as key. Organizational culture and change management. So teams are working in their own way with their current processes. With AI being adopted and operationalized within the organizational change and continuous change management training is crucial. um, the organization should be accountable for ethical, regulatory, and accountability frameworks, and also human AI collaboration for these decision making. Stakeholder perceptions and risk management is crucial for AI adoption as well. So, organizations should consider these areas and see how they can improvise from a strategic perspective. So, during the literature review, these are some of the key numbers that were identified. The Pennsylvania Bureau of Child Support Enforcement revealed that the 15 years of historical data enabled proactive reminders, follow ups, and training referrals within their organization. FRA, Federal Railroad Administration, their portfolio grew from 30 million from 2008 to 17.7 billion in 2015. This is through data-driven decision-making approach. Their information does not reveal the latest insights using AI, but these are the numbers that they are showing based on a data-driven decision-making approach. Australian grocery chain Coles, 1.6 billion predictions per day are being handled, and it covers across 850 stores using AI. Unilever, large scale simulation on Azure AI. They are working on thousands of AI driven simulations. And the reported impact is they test product formulations and supply chain scenarios before rollout using AI. Microsoft Azure uh, findings reveal that, signed off by their CEO, they usually report their financial numbers every year, and they're saying that 60,000 plus customers are being supported, and they have diverse models being implemented using AI, and they also collaborate with other firms like OpenAI, and use models as a service. Um, Also, Ensemble Modeling Benchmark organization highlighted that AI boosts precision, recall, F1 score, and ensures that their data is consistently monitored, updated, and maintained. In by which they're able to make informed decisions using AI. They also highlighted that their organization reduces reliance on anyone using algorithms, and also gains sustained accuracy in production. So these were just examples, and I conclude by saying that AI transforms organizational practices and decision making within data driven decision making frameworks, keeping in mind that the data is reliable, maintained, and constantly being updated based on their organization's progress. The findings also reveal that effective AI adoption extends beyond algorithmic deployment to encompass strategic alignment, ethical governance, stakeholder trust, and also dynamic risk management. Each theme underscored socio-technical nature of AI integration. AI is shown to influence decision-making structures and also mitigate risk strategies across various sectors. The study demonstrated that successful AI integration relied not only on performance metrics but also on the ability to align systems with strategic objectives, regulatory expectations, and ethical standards. Um, the insights collectively inform the design of adaptive, responsible, and future ready AI governance models. Uh, Having said that, it should be monitored on a regular basis across different sectors, how AI is being adopted and implemented for data driven decision making and ethical governance. Implications of future research. Future research can examine other sectors such as healthcare, finance, and public administration, to see how they are doing with the use of AI integration. Um, Also, expanding research into emerging technologies such as generative AI and explainable AI can help understand their implications for decision autonomy and transparency. Future investigations should also consider perspectives of frontline employees. They should be heard. That is one of the examples of qualitative research as well. Uh, in this study, documents were reviewed for comparative analysis, but qualitative research also supports interviewing different SMEs or people from the industry to get more information and get live information on what various employees think about AI. Such time multidimensional research will close the gap between AI capabilities and their long-term organizational impact. And these are some of the references I included. Usually, when you're conducting research, it's always best to refer to last 3 to 5 years of data to support continued research. I conclude. I'm happy to take any questions if there are any. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sonal Sagar Boda, for your thought provoking presentation. Your talk on enterprise AI strategy, framing ethical governance, and scalable implementation offered a crucial perspective on building responsible and future ready AI systems. We deeply appreciate your contribution to ICCC Net 2025.